Hey, what's up guys? It's Dom from Whole Printing Inc. In today's quick yet very insightful video, I'm sharing with you guys how to deal with a frustrated client. I might title this a different title, however the same principles apply no matter the title, right? So my name is Dom, I own Whole Printing Inc. I've been in the printing industry for years. I've worked with many big corporations and my only goal is to help you on your printing journey. As I said, frustrated client might not be the appropriate word. It may be an order that needs a refund, a client that did not get what he was expecting, a return, a bad review online, whatever the case may be, when stuff doesn't go your way. Right? So let's say you and a client, you agree on a specific project, you did your homework, you sent over some mock-ups, they confirmed, and boom. Let's say that it's your fault, right? You're in production and a print kind of doesn't turn out how it's supposed to. You're in a position where you can't reorder. You think it's kind of okay, right? You give it to the client and then they come back. Hey, why is this print like this? Or this is not the color I ordered. Whatever the problem is, right? This is gonna help you guys tremendously, okay? So the first thing you need to do is listen. Number one, listen to the client. Even though they might not be right, even though that you might have sent mock-ups, even if you're perfect, literally they have no reason to be contacting you, you listen. You try, if it's a text, right, you try to hop on a call, you try to reach out as quickly as possible to at least listen to the problem. Number two, and listening, before I go on to point number two, is very, very crucial. You don't just want to fake listen, you want to actually listen. They might have some valid points. Again, let's say that you're not in the fault whatsoever. Still listen, they might be bringing up something that you can use as feedback to make your organization better and bigger. So listen, after you've listened, address. Start addressing the problem like, yes, I completely understand. Agree with them. Say, no, this should not be the way it is. I'm very sorry. Acknowledge, agree, and then proceed. Proceeding can be simple as giving them a refund, explaining the situation, explaining to them why it is the way it is, giving them your thought. And the last part of how to deal with a frustrated client is solution. Always present them with a solution. If you cannot make up or think of a solution on the spot while you're on the call or while you're about to reply to that message, again, go through the steps I just mentioned and then say, I'll get back to you with a solution as quickly as possible. You listen, you acknowledge, you agree, and you solve. This is how you handle any interaction, whether that be with a customer, with an employee. That's how you need to go about your relationships, right? Put yourself in their shoes, right? They got their order, they spend their hard-earned money, and something, even though it might not be your fault, is not right in their minds. You need to listen, acknowledge, agree, and solve. How you solve the solution really depends on your specific situation. If you're abundant and you have lots of cash flow and you want to keep that client, a refund, reordering the material, reprinting, it could be beneficial for a long-term client. If you really feel like the client might be taking advantage of you, you still be respectful, never lose your cool. Again, listen, acknowledge, agree, and solve. In this example, let's say that the client is asking for something super realistic and it's not your fault. You listen, so you're like, yeah, he's talking or she's talking, okay. You acknowledge, yeah, I completely understand where you're coming from, etc. You agree, yeah, no, it makes complete sense. I understand where you're coming from. And no, you're right, we should have done this way, or whatever the case may be, or hey, I've taken your feedback into consideration for the future orders. And then you solve. Look, let me level with you here, right? Put yourself a bit in my shoes. I own this business, I have employees, I sent you the mock-ups, you confirmed, I sent you previews before production, I even sent you a photo just to confirm placement, I sent you different angles. I went above and beyond to make sure you were satisfied with this order. I completely understand again where you're coming from, right? Reiterating the fact that you are empathetic and you understand. Like, hey, like, yeah, maybe a photo isn't ideal, but I gave you the option to come to the shop, right? You're local, you're around 15 minutes away. I asked you, do you want to come take a look before I proceed? You said, no, go ahead. So I'm a bit lost here on how I can make this right for us. Let me know if you have any thoughts, right? And then you pause. Oh, well, you know what, Dom, you're kind of right, you know. However, it's still not what I wanted. The logo's too small, right? It's not what I thought. The photo, I thought it would be good. I told you to use your best judgment. However, I'm really not satisfied. Look, I completely understand, man. If I were you, and I'm paying that kind of money, I want to make sure that my order is how I expected. Look, here's what I can do. solution, solve the problem. Unfortunately, right, I can't really go ahead, man, and reorder the material and reprint on it. You know, if so, I would be out of business. But let me level here with you. You're a good client, you've been coming back quite some time, and I appreciate you bringing this to my attention. Here's the best I can do. I can reorder the materials, I'll pay for the materials, okay? You only have to pay for the printing, or vice versa. Kind of find a solution. You might be losing, yes, in the short term, but you're creating good advertising for your company, right? Even though it might be their fault, you need to take accountability. Let me give you another quick example before I end off this video. Let's say you're doing production and you're like, damn, the deadline's about to come up. I have 4 or 5 pieces that are not passing the quality control. You don't have time to reorder it before the deadline. So this is what you do. You package the full order, you tell the client, hey, I'm ready to come deliver the order. And then you go deliver and you explain in person like, hey, look, I want to show you this. Unfortunately, there's some defects. I have already found the solution. I ordered already the materials. However, your deadline was today or is the day after. The materials won't arrive in time. But look, at least you have them for now. They have small defects. Once I get the new material, I'm going to be actually printing on them, returning you the finished product, and you can keep the material that's broken. Going above and beyond. Again, to recap, guys, when there's a problem, you need to listen, acknowledge, agree with the person, and find a solution. Finding a solution is going to help you guys elevate your printing company to the next level. Most people, especially in printing, since there's not a lot of profit to be made, especially at the beginning, right, in smaller orders, most people kind of just shy away from the fact that, no, it's your problem, and they kind of ignore people that have a return or have a problem with their order. If you can listen, acknowledge, agree, and solve, your business will elevate to new heights. You'll build long-term relationships with your customers, and overall you'll have a better experience, not only for your customers but for yourself. You'll sleep better at night and you'll be a problem solver, which is very crucial. Just a quick note before I end off this video, guys. I want you guys to understand that most of the problems in your business when it comes to customer complaints or customer remarks, you won't even have to go to the point where you solve. Let me give you an example. Client complains about something. You take action as soon as possible. You call, you email, you try to get on the phone ideally, okay? Once you're on the phone, you listen. You let them talk. You acknowledge. And then once they're done talking and they're done giving you the problems, you agree. You come from a place of compassion again. You put yourself in their shoes. You try to see if there's valid points, and then you agree, and then you say like, yeah, I completely understand. And then when you start giving solutions, most of the times you won't even have to give a refund. They'll just be happy that they had somebody to talk to explain the problem, and that you give the best solution you can. Like, hey man, I really understand, blah, blah, blah. Is there anything I can do? Like, no, honestly, I just wanted to bring it up to your attention. I'm happy you actually called me. I just wanted to talk about this. I don't want this to happen in my future orders. I'm just happy you picked up the phone and we could talk. You just saved yourself a bad review. You saved yourself a customer for life, because now they know they can talk to you, and if there is actually a problem, you'll solve it. Hopefully you guys found this different video kind of interesting on how you can deal with customer complaints. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment down below if you want to see more videos like this, and subscribe if you're new. This was Dom from Whole Printing Inc. Make a print you'll never forget.